Hey folks, what's up? So I guess I just wanted to kind of make an update about my life and where things are at because some pretty exciting things are coming up. Sorry, this light is crazy. So I'm home for Christmas in my parents' house. You can see my pervy paintings my parents let me put up for some reason. In the background, got my cat, Ichi. He's sweet, but he's also kind of a little bastard. But yeah, some exciting stuff is coming up. So I'm leaving in about a week and a half to go. Sorry, I look like a ghost. Um, Traveling for 2 months, which is kind of wild. I'm taking a second semester off school to do that. I'm going with mostly I'm going with a really good friend of mine, and he's going down to the Southern United States to get a phalloplasty. So I'm just kind of going to travel with him and keep him company. It's just pretty wild. And yeah, like I said, I'm taking second semester off school to go, and we're going with some other friends too. But I think it's a really good decision. Um, as much as I really enjoy school and I really enjoy what I'm learning. My brain has just kind of been all over the place and developed in this gender mess poo, this gender poo, which I guess I've just kind of been referring to shorthandedly as my craziness. So I'm kind of going to sort some of that out. Um, yeah, like I've been thinking about stuff, and I don't know if any of you have been watching my videos. Back in August, I made a video for the first time about possibly taking tea. And so I kind of made a timeline for myself where I was like, in August was when I first was like, I think this might be something that I'd want to do. So I'm giving myself a year. And so, kind of until, August of 2011, I'm giving myself a year before I allow myself permission to make that decision, before I can give myself the go ahead and say, yeah, sure, this is a good idea, go with it. So, just because, it's a pretty major decision and it will affect the rest of my life. So I figured the least I can do is to give myself a year, where I'm not stressing, thinking about it. I can relax and it can be in the back of my brain, and just to kind of see how I feel, think about all the angles, prepare, talk with my family, because I really want to keep them close throughout this entire process, and also just to kind of see how I feel. So, I mean, besides going and supporting my friend who I love and I'm really excited to be there for, my reason for going, I guess, is because I've been doing a lot of living in my own head, and as much as I love, my life and what I'm doing, I think that especially before I make a decision about taking testosterone, I really want to move myself outside of this environment, outside of the city where I live, outside of the places that I go or the people that I know, and outside of my own head for a little bit, and just kind of go out into the world and interact with it as much as I can. Because for a month we're going to be traveling, so we're going to be going through the Maritimes, down through East Coast of the United States, and down through the South. So we're going to be going to New York City and New Orleans, and it's really exciting. But yeah, I just kind of want to go out into the world and outside of my normal environment and influences and factors, and really see if I still feel the same way, if I still feel like the same person, and see if this decision is right for me. And I've also done something else which I think has been really good, and instead of stressing and trying to be all right, analyze every feeling and every little emotion, because I was talking with my therapist about this, and she was describing my situation to me, and she was like, I see you as being lost in this labyrinth, and all I'm doing is going around and examining every single little leaf, and I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself to really analyze every situation and all of my actions and all of my emotions, and instead of doing that, I've just sort of been giving myself blanket acceptance for anything that I do, for gender wise. I mean, for whether if I make a feminine gesture, or if I feel girly, or if I feel more feminine, or if I don't necessarily feel male, then all of those things are still okay. And so just accepting what is true and what comes natural, and putting less pressure on myself to try and fit into like any sort of like pre-designed box, um, which I think has been really good because I keep coming back to it, but I really feel really solidly genderqueer. And, which I mean, hormones aside, like if I take hormones, it wouldn't be for me to fit into a male box. I really realized that like my issues with my gender and my everything have less to do with wanting to fit into a male role and more with how I relate to my body and what I would like my body to look like. And just trying to like really focus on like how I feel about my body and distance it from these societal points of view. And so like even though I'm not a girl and I don't identify as a woman and I don't really identify with having a female body, I feel that it's equally as difficult and constricting to say I absolutely 100% want to have a male body, or I absolutely 100% am a boy, or I absolutely want to fit into a masculine gender role, because that is not entirely accurate either. And so I feel like sometimes I put pressure on myself and I find myself trying to like butch things up a little bit and like, hey buddy, let's go drink beer and watch football or whatever it is that men do. And then I do that and then I kind of freak out a little bit because I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel right. And then I go upstairs and I put on a dress and I put on makeup and then I just drive myself crazy because if I'm like, if I don't feel comfortable in this role, then I must be a girl and I must be a woman and I must be this thing. And then I find myself, which is what I've been doing really for the past few months, is like I got these two things and I'm just sort of like bashing my head against this incessant binary that wasn't made by or for me. And I'm not trying to privilege non-binary identities over binary identities because I think that everyone's identity is wonderful and valid and beautiful and we're all these, little gorgeous points in a multidimensional space or whatever. But I think that like whenever I come back to the identity of genderqueer, I really feel soothed by it, and it allows me space to be exactly who I am and be exactly okay with it without having to like fit into either one of these roles or sets of values and assumptions that neither quite fit me. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty solid in my genderqueer identity, and I'm still feeling really good about the way that I felt in August and the way that I felt in my last video, which is that I want to perhaps move my body away from female, but not necessarily towards male, and I still feel really good about that, and yeah, so I'm going on this trip, and we're gonna see what's happened. I had a lot of other things that I wanted to talk about, like genderqueer identities and transmasculine spaces and femininity in transmasculine spaces, because I've also had a few interesting discussions regarding that. But looks like I spent 8.5 minutes blathering on about identity, which is kind of my favorite topic right now. So I think that's all right. So yeah, that's where I'm at, guys, and thanks for watching my videos, and hopefully we can talk more about genderqueer identities, because I think that. Anyway, hope you're having a good holiday season, and look forward to seeing y'all in 2011.